Well, welcome to 700 Club Israel. Today we're going to take you on an adventure through the Holy Land. From the ruins of Capernaum to the shores of Galilee, our travel guide, a best-selling storyteller and chief balloon inflator, Bob Goff, he's the author of the brand new book, A Journey with Jesus, and he joins us now via Zoom. So, Bob, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks a million. Appreciate being on.
All right, great to have you. What led you to create this wonderful book, A Journey with Jesus? And what do you hope people will experience they wouldn't get from just reading the Bible?
Yeah, my hope is that people will break bread together, experience through some of the sights and sounds and the videos that accompany this, a peek at the Holy Land, these places where Jesus was. And then the important part is just being together. It's the conversations that happen around in a small group or around the table, around how does this stuff jump off the pages and you move from agreeing with Jesus to actually doing something about it.
Well, you mentioned break bread. You've got recipes in this. I was just reading the St. Peter's fish recipe, which,
Yeah, come on.
I've actually eaten on the shores of Galilee. Are you intending this book to be sort of a group experience?
It really is. I want people who would be like church adjacent or like kind of, they're looking at faith, but they're looking from afar to just say, hey, get over here. Let's have some conversations around community, around some food. And using some videos to say, okay, so this is what happened in this place. Now, what are you going to do about it? Because we don't need more information. We need to more like engage. So what's your next bold step?
Well, what happened to you on this journey? I mean, you went through the Sea of Galilee. You were in Jerusalem. You're walking the very places where Jesus walked. How did it change you?
You know, there's something about reading about, if you read about Tahiti for a long time ago, and then you had all the picture books about it, but you'd never gone, it just adds another layer.
Well, you described the journey, you're not a tourist, but you're a follower of Jesus. And so what's the practical difference of that? And how does that make people engage with the sights and the stories of the Bible?
Yeah, I think something happens when we move from just agreeing with Jesus to actually doing the things he talked about doing. So that's what this series is about. Journey with Jesus to the places, think about the things he said, and then importantly say, how can we do that together?
Well, okay, let's take it back to you. Was there a specific moment? Was there a specific place in Israel that reshaped you or led to deeper understanding of Jesus? And what does he mean to you?
I think of Capernaum. And a lot of people are familiar with the stories that happened at Capernaum. A lot of times it said that the disciples got in a boat and went to the other side. Just so great to get a sense of how far it is from here to there. And boy, apply that to your whole life. So you can say, lead a purposeful life. But like most people are saying, how do I get from here to there? So what I'm hoping happens is that people take a look at these pages and the videos, get together with friends, and then say, how do we get to the next place in our marriage? How do we get to the next place with kids we're raising? How do we get to the next place with our career? And not just up and to the right, but just not a better version of ourselves, but a more accurate reflection of Christ. Because we spend a lot of time on self-improvement, and I'm all for that. I'm in need of much of that. But what I want to do is be a more accurate reflection of Jesus in the world.
All right, if someone finishes the 8-week journey, what would you want them to start doing differently in their community, in their neighborhood, in their lives, in their family? What difference are you looking for as the result of walking with Jesus through the Holy Land?
Hey, the first thing I hope you'll do is work out a little bit, because if you followed all the recipes in there, you'll have put on a pound or two. The second thing I hope that'll happen is that you go deeper with people. You'll say, like, let's not just talk about how are you? And they say, fine. And they say, how are you? And I say, fine. But say, what's it feel like to be you right now? These are the questions that Jesus asked. Like he went below, he went next level. That's what I hope the takeaway will be. Not that we have more knowledge about Jesus and the places he was, but more of the heartbeat of Jesus, about what was going on and how he said, he didn't lay it out like a business trip everywhere he's going. He said, come and see. And I love that.
How do you now think about modern Israel? The restoration of the people to the land. But how do you think about them now, not just as a biblical backdrop to the stories of the Bible, but it's it's a complex place. There are a lot of controversy about it. How do you think about modern Israel now?
You nailed it. It really is hydra-headed. It's so complicated, and you have so much polarization. It seems like that's through the millennia. I've got a school there in Cana in Galilee. We operate through Love Does, and we've been operating them. We just have kids, like they're Arab kids and Jewish kids and Christian kids and Palestinian kids. They're just kids. And I just love, I'm a lawyer by training, and I know Jesus wasn't keen on lawyers, but he was nuts about kids. And so that's what reminds me when I think about modern Israel, I immediately think about kids. And what can we do give them more opportunities, no matter what circumstance they're in? How can we do more? And again, I don't want to just agree with it. I want to actually do something, because there's a lot of people that have opinions. I would just go like, what are you doing with your opinion? Because sometimes our brains say, because we have an opinion, we're doing something. We're not doing anything. We're just having an opinion. And so I want our faith to be the same way, that it moves from beliefs to action.
The amazing thing for me was to find that the kids on their own can get to a place of agreement, and it's kind of hard to believe, but I mean they're even getting married to one another. So you have Palestinian spouse of an Israeli, and it just it's just wonderful to see that people really can come together, and they really can work together, live together, be together, if they just drop all this other stuff. Let's go back.
That we approach it with humble hearts, in everything in our day, like all the things you'll confront today, anybody listening, all the things you'll confront. As a lawyer, I used to have people have their palms up when they were speaking. If their deposition was taken, I'm like, palms up. Because if you approach something with your palms up, then you just don't end up like mad. But a lot of people are approaching the issues in their life and geopolitical issues with palms clenched. And I want to just say, like, can we just be more palms up? Let me understand. I'm coming as a student, not as a professor. Understand the people, understand the land, understand the conflicts. And then let's break some bread and say, what can we do right here? Instead of going across an ocean, what if we go across the street the way Jesus talked about it? What can we do tomorrow or next Tuesday? That's where all the good stuff happens.
Well, it's a continual theme. How important is it to break bread with people?
It really is. I mean, I'm big on pounding the carbs, as you can see. I just love that idea of like getting past everybody's opinion or everybody's like thought or two about this to say, hey, what can we do in common? I've got a retreat center with a bunch of horses. Released 10 horses into the field. Some are trotters and some are trail horses and some are thoroughbreds. But within about 30 minutes, all their hearts sync up and they start beating together. Isn't that crazy? Phenomenon. And so I think the same with us. John 17, the prayer Jesus had is that we would be one, but oneness doesn't mean sameness. Oneness means oneness. Like, so our hearts could beat together, but you got to be together to beat together. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I want to just get people together, say around the scriptures, around Jesus, and say, how can we just be together and actually start caring about those things? Philippians 2:20, Paul talking about Timothy. I don't know anybody that like Timothy because he shows a genuine interest in other people's welfare. That's where I want to be.
Amen. I've got to ask, as a cook, what's your favorite recipe in the book?
Anything to do with food, I'm in. I'm not picky. I teach a class at San Quentin, and I have been for years and years. And I even like their food. So that would be an example of how low the bar is for me. What I want to do is, though, we pumped in some great recipes in there just so people have the idea, the sounds, the smells, the taste, the whatever. I want people together, break the bread, have the conversation, and then say, how do we activate what it is that we believe? You can have all kinds of beliefs. I want to move from thinking it to doing it, and not because Jesus needs our help. He wants our hearts.
All right. Fair warning, Bob did not include prison food in his recipes. So you can discover Israel for yourself by getting Bob's new book. It's called A Journey with Jesus, an interactive guide through the Holy Land. Within its pages, you'll find links to videos, recipes, Bible study questions, and more. Be sure to pick up a copy wherever books are sold. And Bob, thank you so much for this book, and thank you for being with us and sharing your joy. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a million.
Well, polls today are showing a disturbing trend. More people are doubting the validity of the Bible. Most issues deal with the reliability of the ancient texts or the accuracy of the various English translations. In our nation's capital is an archaeological treasure that puts those doubts to rest. CBN correspondent Amber Strong takes us there.
Once kept under lock and key, portions of the Dead Sea Scrolls are here at DC's Museum of the Bible, removing all obscurity and open for all to see.
You can take a journey to the past, to the shores of Qumran, land of the Essenes, and home to one of mankind's greatest discoveries, the Dead Sea Scrolls, which contain the oldest copies of biblical text in existence.
Some will try to say King Tut's treasures were a greater archaeological discovery, and they truly are stunning. But the Dead Sea Scrolls still impact the way people read Scripture today.
Spread across 11 caves in ancient Judea, the Dead Sea Scrolls are considered one of the greatest archaeological finds in history and reveal some of the deepest mysteries of early Christianity.
In 1947, a Bedouin shepherd was out. The story has taken over legendary qualities over the years, but according to some of the early accounts, he was looking for a lost sheep, threw some rocks into a cave, heard a crack, and then realized, I need to come back and figure out what was in that cave.
From there, an archaeological race to uncover the next treasure began, with each new cave unveiling something more.
When they were initially discovered, the first scholars working on the scrolls, who did amazing work in piecing together this puzzle of documents that were fragmentary, actually caused a lot of additional damage to the scrolls unknowingly.
Dr. Joe Azil leads the Dead Sea Scrolls unit at the Israel Antiquities Authority. Since the early 90s, it has served as keepers of the treasure, conserving the scrolls in a climate-controlled facility designed to match the condition of the Judean caves. The displays here are kept under similar conditions with strict protocols, down to the lighting inside the exhibition.
They're placed on exhibition here for only 3 months. Every 3 months, we come in and we switch the scrolls with a new set of scrolls because in order to conserve the scrolls, we can display them for 3 months, that they're exposed to light, and then they have to rest for 5 years in our safe room.
The ancient texts dating back to 300 BC were transcribed by the Essenes, a monastery-like community, and include portions of 38 of 39 of the Old Testament books, along with other readings such as the Book of Enoch.
There's even one called the War Scroll that talks about this cosmic end times battle between their community and a group called the Kittim, which most scholars think is the Romans, because I think they saw in their community as they would rise up against the Roman Empire and eventually kind of usher in a messianic age.
They also provide insight into the people of Qumran, contemporaries of Jesus and the apostles.
To think that we're looking at things that were in existence and being read by a community at the same time Jesus and the disciples were visiting Jerusalem or going to the Sea of Galilee, it really kind of makes your kind of gives you goosebumps to think about that.
The scrolls help us understand issues that are going on in Jesus's life, in his ministry, what people are talking about.
Scholars like Dr. Craig Evans, who studied the scrolls for decades, say the fact that these texts are nearly identical to the Bible we read should offer assurance to Christians.
The Dead Sea Scrolls don't contradict anything. In other words, the Dead Sea Scrolls don't embarrass Bible believers. The Dead Sea Scrolls don't show that there's some kind of mistake in Scripture.
It does make you sit there and say that 2,000 years ago, a community was reading the book of Psalms, was getting inspiration from Psalm 23, just like I would read it today. And it just shows you the timelessness of the biblical story.
From the caves of Judea to Washington, D.C., a word that will stand forever.
The Museum of the Bible is the only remaining North American stop where you can see the scrolls, and they will remain on display until September of 2026. Amber Strong, CBN News, Washington.
Well, here's a significant fact. What the Dead Sea Scrolls show is exactly the text that we have today. There isn't a variation. When the scroll of Isaiah was when they finally understood what it was the very Independence Day of the modern state of Israel. In 1948, a scholar on Independence Day was given it. He looked at it, he knew what he was looking at, and he went, wow, this is an incredible discovery. And within that scroll, it has this wonderful verse, can a nation be born in a day? And the day that the modern state of Israel was born, the Isaiah scroll came to light, and it shows that the Bible that Jesus and the disciples had is the same Bible that we have today. The text has not varied. We want you to know the stories of the Bible, that the verses in the Bible, the books of the Bible, are true and accurate to the point where they were originally written. Our latest documentary, Oracles of God, the story of the New Testament, it's available for your home viewing. You can stream the film on CBN Family. You can receive your own DVD copy, and it's for a gift of any dollar amount. All you have to do is go to cbn.com/oracles, or you can call us, 1-800-700-7000. Well, it started with one family's pain. Now it's giving thousands of Israeli families hope. At the Shalva Center, children with severe challenges have found peace within its walls, and its founders are thankful because your support makes it happen.
The Shalva National Center in Jerusalem provides transformative care and inclusion programs for individuals with disabilities. Founded in 1990 by Kalman and Malki Samuels, Shalva grew from their own journey raising their son Yossi, who was blind and deaf. Now their personal experience has grown into a nationwide mission. Through a long-standing partnership with CBN Israel, Kalman Samuels continues to share Shalva's powerful story of hope, empowerment, and life-changing impact across Israeli society.
So Malki's first program was an after-school program, which she wanted to connect what the government gives in the mornings for special needs to people, that we will connect it till the evening, so that rather than a parent have to run home at 1, 2, or 3 in the afternoon, the parent can work full days. The children, the other children, can come home and do homework with mommy and daddy. And when Junior comes home after having a lot of fun in the afternoon and therapy, they welcomed him happily at home. And the family's entire modus operandi changes. This program, we didn't realize how much it was going to change things, but we suddenly had people banging on our door. My son needs the program, my nephew needs the program, my neighbor's family's falling apart, they need the program. So we gave it a name, we called it Shalva, which is a Hebrew word mentioned once in the entire biblical writings. In Psalm 122, verse 7, may there be peace in your walls, Shalva, peace of mind in your palaces. And in 2005, the government came and said, look, we need to get a lot of kids into your programs and you don't have room. If we give you a very big piece of land, would you build a very big center? When we saw the size and the placement of the land in the heart of the city, we realized that this, in our view, wasn't from them, it was from heaven that's saying, get up and do something. Many years later, we completed what's called the Shalva National Center. We have the facilities with a semi-Olympic pool, with a full-size gym, with therapy pools, with playgrounds, huge playground areas, where these kids can take a break, go down to the gym, and play ball. And all of our kids are be in the pool, so they have a very wonderful, wonderful environment. And we've served everybody from the entire spectrum of Israel. We serve, first come, first serve. And we've never cared about ethnicity, about religious beliefs, about financial ability. No one's ever been refused because someone couldn't pay something that Shalva asked for. There's no such thing.
Among those who received Shalva's therapy was Katya, who fled the war in Ukraine with her daughter Solomia, who has severe cerebral palsy. With no resources, the family didn't know what to do until CBN Israel stepped in. With the support of both Shalva and CBN Israel, Solomia is making progress that once seemed impossible, learning to crawl, to play, and to communicate with her family.
We couldn't afford physiotherapy. Now we need to get new leg braces for our daughter because she is growing out of the braces we got her over a year ago. CBN is covering these costs. They paid for the therapies, they help us with food. I really want to thank you for being with us. You've brought us such positive emotions, not only to the children, but especially to me.
It's amazing work what the Shalva Center is doing, and it's such an honor to be a part of that, to say, yes, we want to help people with disabilities. This is an incredible work that literally is unavailable for the families that are participating in it. They literally can't afford the basic necessities for the children that they have, the children with these very obvious disabilities. If you want to be a part of helping them, and it's not just Shalva, CBN Israel is involved in so many different humanitarian programs, whether it's the outreach to there's still Holocaust survivors, particularly out of Eastern Europe, that aren't getting any support, and how can we come alongside them and give them the help that they need. There have been all kinds of issues related to October 7th, the destruction of the kibbutzes in the Gaza envelope, the displaced people from both Gaza and northern Israel, some of whom are very reluctant to go back to what they used to know. And how do they make a living today? How do they support themselves? How do they get the very necessary medical care for all the trauma that they went through? Your support is helping to rebuild the kibbutzes, to put in the dining halls and the kitchens and the shopping, the grocery store that they need, just to create community, create a place, a shared place where they can break bread together. Your support also goes to help the Jerusalem Bureau of CBN News so that we can report accurately the news stories that are coming out of Israel today. If you want to be a part, call us and join. 1-800-350-2230 is the number to call. You can also go to cbn.com/support Israel, or you can text Support Israel to 71777. Just say, I want to be a blessing to Israel when you call. Here's a word from Psalms. May there be peace within your walls and security in your palaces. God bless. We'll see you again.